What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Hogwarts Legacy at CCXP. Now, I'm sure a lot of other Hogwarts Legacy creators have talked about, the everything that happened there, 10 details you might have missed, that kind of stuff, and they do an incredible job, and they do better at it than I could ever do. So I want to focus on one specific thing, and that's going to be the music and the length of the music that they had talked about at the show. But I do want to touch upon a couple other things, starting, I guess, with the music video that came out this morning, which is just incredible. I mean, it's something that I actually don't put a lot of thought into, and I kind of do this for a lot of games, although I really like music quite a bit. In fact, I play guitar myself, and I played for a long time. I tend to, like, when I do reviews or whatever, I don't even really mention the music all that often, but music sticks with me, like the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack. Uncharted has an amazing soundtrack to me. Life is Strange. I could probably go on like 20, 30, 40 game soundtracks that are just, top of the line. I don't really think about it actually all that often when I'm discussing games leading into it. But like with Hogwarts, it's not even a concern. It's not a worry, right? And the music video, I think, completely helps that, where it's like the music in this game is just going to be phenomenal. Obviously, there's the visuals that's going on behind the scenes, which also look really good. But just the music in general, this game's going to have a killer soundtrack. Harry Potter has an incredible just sound to it. All the movies and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to just, listening. And I think that's going to be kind of an underrated feature when you're walking through the castle and it's just playing this music. It just always sounds good. That's definitely a pro, with this game. So you got that. I want to also talk about really quickly the mounting, right? So beast riding on land, and people had pointed out, so now we got air, we got land. Do we have sea? I really don't think so. I'll say that. I mean, it's a prediction. People, for whatever reason, get really, really mad when I say predictions. It's as if you're not allowed to predict anything with this game. But no, I honestly don't think there'll be like a sea mount, but although that would actually be pretty cool. But just the fact that you can ride creatures and barrel through enemies, right? That was a big thing that was towards the end of that clip, that you can do that. Man, that looks fun. That looks like a lot of fun. So there's not really too much more to talk about there, other than, again, it kind of opens up the discussion of now you have land, you have air, do we have sea? And it looks like, obviously, not just using it, you can use it from getting to point A to point B, but you can also use it to attack enemies or run through enemies on the way, which also means they're just going to kind of be there, right? So when you're going from location to location, there's just going to be enemies just, like, I guess, wandering on the side of the road that you can trample over if you wanted to. So that's super cool. And then I guess finally the cutscene, to quickly go, for the cutscene, I don't have too much to say. I mean, it's a really cool scene. It's just, I think, building out a little bit of a backstory. I don't think it's super, super important to, like, the main story of this game, but it's cool to see some characters that we haven't seen a lot of, or actually haven't seen at all in terms of the librarian, right? So it's cool to see them, and it's cool to see just us kind of interacting in Hogwarts, I guess, right? With kind of elders or people older than us. Pretty sweet to see. Now, the main thing I want to talk about, though, is that music. So this was something I think that popped up when they were doing either a Q&A or just talking in general at CCXP, and the line was basically that the game is going to have, I think, at least, so maybe slightly more than 30 hours of music, or maybe it was right on the dot, but 30 hours of music in the game. And my question, and I saw people asking me this on Twitter, is like, okay, well, now we have a time, but we don't have a time for the game. We have a time for the music tracks right behind the game. And so can you read into that in any way? I don't really know how to read that, though, right? The 30 hours of music. Because most gaming soundtracks, in fact, I'd imagine the gaming soundtrack for Hogwarts Legacy is going to be extremely short. The first example I thought of was The Witcher 3, right? Witcher 3, ginormous. I mean, it's absolutely massive. And the official soundtrack for that game is 35 tracks, and it's 81 minutes long. So when you say 30 hours, I don't really know what that means, because there's no way there's a soundtrack with 30 hours worth of music on it. That's just not going to happen, right? It just won't. So do they mean like backing tracks or like on a loop behind us as you're, so like, you're walking through the castle. I mentioned that earlier. You're walking through the castle and you're hearing music behind you. Does that count? I think it does. I actually think it does. So the question is it 30 hours of unique music and then that's just kind of looped? I don't really think we can read into it. And this is, again, like, this is what I find the most interesting about the entire CCXP. I don't know if you can look into it almost at all. These 30 hours, like, yeah, I actually have been predicting this game to be like 20 hours of the story, and then maybe you double that for everything else. Maybe you can get up to like 50 or so. So 30, I'd be shocked if you can do every single thing this game has to offer in 30 hours. In fact, I'd be pretty concerned about the game if that's the case. It's possible. It's actually very possible, but I guess it's a possibility that you have to kind of consider, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think if Hogwarts Legacy came out and it was literally to do everything, because again, you think about the music is not necessarily, I mean, there will be like Battle for Hogwarts, right? That's if it's like a main mission, the final quest in the game, that would probably be a song title, right? It'd be one of the last songs in the soundtrack. So yes, it would kind of match the story beats, but also it would just be music in general. So it's not necessarily tied to the narrative. So 30 hours if you listen to literally everything, but again, you can play it on a loop. Like, I assume we're going to hear the same music more than one time, or it plays longer than it would, or maybe it plays shorter than it would. And that's the thing too, right? You think of gaming soundtracks, or just soundtracks in general, think about movie soundtracks as well, then listen to it in the movie, and then when you listen to it, like, online or whatever where they publish it, it's sometimes longer online because they don't play the full version in film or in the game, right? So 30 hours could actually mean they're only using half of the music and there's actually more music, or they're only playing parts of it and then the extended part is online. So I don't want to get too confusing, and I'm sure I already did, but I really don't think you can read into it all that much, because I think 30 hours is, you could stretch it and the music could replay, so you could be looking at 60, right, if you just kind of double it, or again, maybe it literally is as simple as, no, the game is 30 hours long and there's 30 hours of music that goes over it, but I really don't think that's the case. But it's interesting they kind of dropped that, and 30 hours, again, to me, kind of seems insane, because I'm looking around and I don't see any gaming soundtracks that have anything close to that time, or movie soundtracks, or literally anything. So maybe it's a translational issue, like maybe that's not exactly word for word what they meant. I don't know. So maybe if you guys have any other ideas, or if there's a better translation out there you guys want to say, leave it in the comments. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the music is a hint of the game's length, or do you think it's just like an interesting fact that we now know about the game? Let me know. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.